Still juicing. How we doing? Cut joy on them. I want to buy lettuce. Split it with the real ones. Let's go. Previously on Kimba TV. Chemo says I'm getting sick scalps. That's awesome, brother. I mean, there's so many, right? Like, you've got this. You got this. You have this. You have this. You've got this. You know, and you also have this, like any sort of, so that's a possibility. Like if I was bullish, I would love that. Clean the base, like the Sunday shit, the weekend, the pre-market shit, right? So, you know, that would be dope. Yeah, maybe this one. So that's the aggressive long to chase. This is the better risk reward because then you know what the invalidation is. If it got back up here, that's your stop loss. So that's an easy one. If it just starts to nuke, then this is a good place or that's a good place. So you can either do the, you know, go. Oh, let's get it. No, let's go. Good morning. Bobby, good morning. Sales Favor, good morning. Joaquin, good morning. How we doing, y'all? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How we doing? Bobby Joe, AIM Talks, thank you for the kind words. What's going on, AIM Talks? Well, yesterday, this ended up holding, and lo and behold, we are on our way to 92. Are you ready, Kutchoy? Today is Tuesday, so let me think. This is also coming up here too. Let's get ready for this guy. Lock that in place. Stop the music. RRBCM, Buzzo, Killjoy, XY's Paz Kush. Mark, what's going on? Mario, what's going on? Any questions? AIM Talks is asking bull run officially initiated. No, we've been talking about that for the last couple months. So if you're starting to think bull run is initiated, I mean, I'm getting ready to short. Yeah, so I don't know if Azaz has the like the clip for like Sol, for example. But I'm eyeing this because I'm getting ready to maybe think about shorting that. Don't forget about what we talked about with Anchor VWAP. And I don't know how many weeks ago it was, but we've been talking about 92 and then an 82 bullish retest. Yeah, so we've been bullish for months. But we got that coming up. AIM Talk says, so your advice is a little shorting at the 92K frame. If the data looks bearish, yes, AIM Talks. I don't know why. Even for me, like it didn't take that long to understand. But trading isn't really about trying to predict the future. So if you're somebody that's thinking, hey, when it gets here, let's short. Hey, when it gets here, let's long. You're basically, that's glorified gambling. What I prefer to do, AIM Talks, is when we get to a level or when we get to a low that we want to long or short, I look at the data. And I ask myself, is there things like divergences, open interest edge, structural edge, S&P confluence? And that's when I take the long or short. So if I tell you AIM talks, yeah, I'm going to be looking for a short at 92.5, and you decide to gamble and you put blind limits and it completely pumps and you get wrecked, that's on you. You know, that's how like you're going to end up being a Mario Fibonacci talking about, but I thought you said you were going to short there. And then I'll show up the next day talking about there's literally no bearish edge. Why would we short there?
You just said.
So there is no way to be successful in this game if you can't read the data and tell me if it's bullish or bearish yourself. Does that make sense? So yes, if it looks bearish, I would love to. Otherwise, do you remember the next level that we've talked about for the next short? There's no short to be had until 96 if the 92 zone doesn't work. You get me? But think about how we've been talking about it going to 92 and then having a bullish retest to like 82 or 80. And then we're getting ready to long 80, 82. Think about how we were talking about that, I don't know, 3.5 weeks ago. So around end of March is when we started talking about, well, if the 76 low is in, then I'll see you at 92 and we'll take the bullish retest at 80, 82. All right. So, the great thing about this community, brother, is there are people with longs from 50, shorts, people with shorts from 110. Everybody is asking, hey, you know, what about this? What about that? Every single hypothetical scenario, it's not that I'm able to come up with everything. It's that y'all ask me everything. Just think about it for a second. There's about 1,000 viewers, right? Half of the people are in amazing longs from like 50, 60, 70. Half of the lions are in amazing shorts from 100, 95, 105. So you have to understand that everybody is pretty much asking every single scenario that everybody could possibly think of. So, you know, what about this? What about that? What if it does this? What if it does that? Everybody asks everything. We go over everything. So, yeah. Kachaya! AIM Talk says, I would never blame you for taking risks since has been my decision. Well, you're a different breed, and that's what, you know, that's what makes you successful. But most people in this game have no business being trading. Most people are just going to be getting their insecurities triggered left and right in this game. So the problem is I think a lot of times, especially in this sort of society and culture, people are so coddled and everybody, you know, tells people like, hey, everybody's opinion is valid when it's not. And so when those people come to trading and they realize that not everybody's opinion is valid, it's like a big culture shock for a lot of people, you know? So yeah, there is no room for opinion. The data is the data, you know, the math is the math. Either there is a bullish divergence or there isn't. Either there is bullish structure or there isn't. There either is bullish edge in terms of open interest or there isn't. So some people will sit there like with a straight face, tell me that longs are trapped when the data says that there are no longs trapped. You know, there will be people with a straight face that tell me, wow, there's a lot of shorts open. And I look over on Exo and there's literally no shorts open. So, Neo Delinho says, man, I'm feeling the FOMO so bad. I feel you. Isn't it crazy? Like, how many, were you here yesterday, brother? Were you here when we were talking about, hey, if it really is bullish, it can't lose here? And I threw out the number 86.3, 86.4, 86.5, and this went to 86.485. Like, isn't it weird that a lot of people, they feel the FOMO here, but they won't feel the FOMO here? Neo, yesterday, brother, if it really was bullish, it could not lose this level. It pixeled, bro. You know, think about how we had this box. Think about the swing fail pattern, you know? So if you really believed, if you really were bullish, you would have longed yesterday here. Isn't that crazy? So think about how many people didn't want to long here, but now they're feeling FOMO here. And how I'm getting ready to short here. Isn't that crazy? How it works? Motherfuckers don't want to long here. Motherfuckers don't want to long here. They want to long here. I'm getting ready to short here. Isn't that crazy how the game works? But the data said yesterday that if it really was bullish, you would not have lost that level. Right? And it did not. So what does it mean? So you got to go with levels, regardless of how objective or, excuse me, how biased you are, whether you want it to go down lower or you want it to go up higher. The data is the data and the math is the math. If it was going to be bullish, then it was going to hold that level. It held that level. So you got to go with what the data told you. But to be able to identify that level and to be able to say, hey, above here is bullish, below here is bearish, doesn't that help? You see how it helps? Like nobody should have been bearish after that yesterday. You know what I mean? You're waiting for 92 next, which is exactly what we talked about, not just yesterday, but weeks before. How many of you guys remember when we said this box is the last place we would short until 92? I don't know how many times we said that. There's still people trying to take shorts. You know, still people trying to take shorts at like 89. But Lions, we talked about how that box is the last place. After that, the next short attempt is at 92. Kachoy on him. Let's go. Pavel says, not gonna lie, I tried. That's okay. But you know what my plan was? If that was your plan for the last couple of weeks, that's okay. But, you know, for the last 3 weeks, I said the only place that I'm going to be shorting is that box. Anything above is 92. So, yep, I'm just sticking to my plan. But if you didn't believe that holding here is bullish, well, then, you know, you might be shorting. And that's okay. But yeah, I'm just, these are all plans that we talked about. I'm executing it as such. I'm also getting ready for the Soul short and TPing the Soul. But yeah, I mean, it helps to just kind of have everything planned out. I don't know how long ago we talked about, hey, after this box, the next area that we're going to be waiting for is 92. Let's see if we can get a little scalp short from 92 back to 82. And then we're going to long 80 to 82. So no real surprises. Let's get it. You are talking about 152.8 on Soul, right? Julian, what level is that? Julian, what do I always say to start the day off? Make sure you have levels to the upside. Make sure you have levels to the downside. Make sure you have the bad highs and bad lows identified. Julian, if you have done that, you wouldn't even need to ask me that. But I will still show you. How long ago did we draw this line? And when did we actually do the Soul TA? And do you remember when I pulled the anchor VWAP and everything? Yeah, I have my TPs from like 153 to 155 right now. Okay. Mr. Riyadh says 300K BTC moon soon. Isn't it crazy that as we near the level that I'm thinking about shorting, not to mention the level that I said I was short almost 2.5 months ago, motherfuckers starting to talk about 100K, 300. If homie is asking if he should start thinking about buying altcoin spot, I really think the Friday discussion is a good one to watch. And I can't stress this enough, brother. It is now Tuesday. What you wanted to know right now, you could have known Friday. You could have known Friday night. You could have known Saturday morning. And I can't stress it enough, man. I'm not the one that's smart enough to talk about these things. It's that you guys are smart enough to ask me these things. Alrighty. So, yeah, it's basically the levels are the levels. And you need to be prepared for the possibility that the 76 low was the market low. So, yeah, whether it's DOT or Link or Cardano or AVAX or CRV, whatever it is, there's levels that it is mathematically reacting to. So, theoretically, yes. I don't think, in my opinion, that altcoin season will officially start until rate cuts are announced and there's free money circulating in the markets. I think for altcoin season to start, okay, you need retail and idiots to have money to spend. That's how bull runs happen. So if people are living paycheck to paycheck, if people are, struggling, then how could they possibly have a couple $1,000s to buy, shitcoin, poo-poo coin? Right? So, yes, that doesn't mean, though, that until rate cuts happen, price can go lower. Does that make sense? The low could already be in. Okay? But whether the low is in or not is independent of the question of, or not necessarily even the question, but thinking that rate cuts can only, will be the trigger that starts altcoin season. So I think it's good, and this is what I've been talking about for almost a fucking year now, is I'm trying to front run the rate cuts. I'm trying to be in a long before rate cuts. But if you ask me, do you think altcoin season starts with rate cuts? The answer is yes. Epsilon says, may I know what you mean by red card? What the fuck? Does it even... Rate cut does not sound like red card. Mapeda says, so basically, if we get rate cuts, the markets will start pumping fast. Those terms are relative and it's semantics. What does start pumping fast? What does fast mean? Like the day of? No, yeah, I mean the day of you're gonna have a reaction, sure, yeah, yeah, like it'll be a bullish market, Mapetus. Jingo says, what is this? Is the exit pump before a Great Depression style reset? And you know what's crazy, Jingo? Haven't we been talking about that for 2 years? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Azaz even has a clip because this is so old school, but I've been talking about, I think 2025 is bullish, and I'm going to try, I think the top comes in somewhere like around Q1 of next year, right? I'm trying to get out of risk on assets between the end of this year and Q1 of next year. So how many of y'all have been around long enough to remember us talking about that? Like, I'm trying to, and then I'm going to be cash heavy. I think the economy is going to be shitty for a while. And then starting around 2028, 2029, 2030, I'm going to be full on angel investing, Series A's, you know what I mean? Angel rounds, and buying a whole bunch of land and property. Copy trading Warren Buffett. Actually facts. Actually facts. Do you understand, depending on where we are, at what time, is it before or after FOMC is going to impact my short at 92? We've been talking about this for a little bit. Triple J says no change, 90%, 92.9 to be exact. So it's 93% chance no rate cut. Do you understand why I might be thinking about shorting 92 or 96? You understand? Do you understand why I might also be longing 80 and 82? Because I would love no rate cut. Okay? And then tariffs all get resolved when we go to 80. Okay? And then we get along from 80, we start pumping, and then rate cut. So do you understand why I might be shorting 92 or 96? Why I might be longing 80? And why there's also a chance that we could still get 70 broken? You with me, Triple J? So like the higher time frame stuff I think is a little bit easier, right? It's the leveraged trying to get like a really good entry, getting stopped out because if it made a higher high, SFP, getting round tripped, you know, getting pumping. That's the shit that we just have to finesse and navigate through, right? The higher time frame stuff isn't really that complicated. Okay, it's the smaller time frame, high leverage, you know, bing bong ding dong, 7-5, higher high, lower low, VWAP, getting stopped out, trying to get back in. That's the finessing, right? Let's get a check. Oh man, I can't even read these things, bro. Hope you and the gang are doing and juicing. Just want to say thank you again for bringing me on last week and going through DOT with me and answering some of my retail questions. Back, you would look for a 92K short if 85, 86 does not hold. So I assume that's in play, but we'll get caught up. Yes. Yes, Fibception. Thank you for that, Fibception. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely rewind and get caught up. You can see me marking out all the levels. So, yep. So the CME levels are here. The basically like all the way up through to the 92.8, right? And then same thing. Like I got in the dot long, sold long, basically like TP'd. Do you remember where I TP'd the so long? Got back in, same with like DOT, trying to get TP'd up there. Same with DOT too, same with Bitcoin, same with S&P, everything. Yeah, but definitely get caught up. Let me know if you have any questions after you get caught up. I think the plan is pretty well developed. So look at this, look at this. Yes, sir. And it's only Tuesday. The other thing that we did too, Fibception, that I think you would want to get caught up on is this. Whoops. No rate cuts, but still balling. So just like you said, a couple weeks ago, we started talking about shorting 92.90. You know, 92.5 if 85, 86 doesn't work. That's exactly what we talked about this morning. One of the things that I wanted was S&P Confluence, and even more profound than S&P Confluence, I wanted no rate cut if we're going to be trying to short 92 or 96. So, yep, we talked about all of that. Get caught up, Fibception, and then let me know if you have any questions. Sounds good? Got it. Thank you. We'll get caught up. Yeah, and then let me know if you have any questions. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So a lot of these things, Fibception, as you can probably remember, is we just have to finesse the timing, right? Because we have GDP and PCE. And do you know what PCE needs to be in order to change this, for example? So we have GDP, unemployment on the first, and PCE. And you see the difference. Do you remember when GDP came out first, an hour before U.S. market opened, and then the PCE came out after trading had opened? Do you remember that initial move as a debate from the GDP to the PCE? So, like, I'm going to try to squeeze all these things in because this is 7 days from now. This is 8 days from now. So, basically, what I would like to see is like Wyckoff distribution, Kimba Crown at 92. You understand? So I want everybody that wants to try to short 92 to give up, and then we go nuke. So 3 drives is in play, and it's going to take time. So it's not like we're going to try to, I mean, I'm sure that we're going to attempt shorts, and we'll get round tripped at least twice. You know what I mean? So it's probably going to be the 3rd or 4th or 5th attempt if 92 is going to work. If 92 and S&P and no rate cut doesn't align, then it's probably 96. So 92, 96. But regardless of where it is, I would be looking to long the 80, 82 zone. Yeah, but I was just talking about this morning, Fibception, about how we were talking about if this is the last place we're going to short, and the next place that we would think about shorting is here. And if this doesn't work, the next place we would think about shorting is here, right? The single print. Yeah. So, I'm just sticking to my plan, man. Yeah, almost there. But definitely rewind and let me know if you have any follow-through questions, okay? But pretty much level identified. I know what kind of structure. I know what kind of time. I know what I have to try to squeeze in between, etc., etc. So let's go, man. Janice, thank you for the resub. Janice says, I took my first trade with real money today since I turned 18 last week. Wow, congratulations, young blood. Let's go. Hey, now don't blow all your bar mitzvah money on just one trade, okay? Stay safe now. All right? And I love that you're taking real money positions, but make sure you have a hot-ass date for prom too, all right? Priorities. Stops taken, says Kimba. Can you confirm for me single prints on BTC higher time frame to the upside? Sure. The next single print doesn't come in until 103.8. Fibception says, I have a little bit of soul spot at 134. Not happy with the entry, but could be worse. And do you remember what we talked about, Fibception, about soul? I'm not afraid to short that bitch at 150-ish, right? 152. But brother, I'm not scared to long that bitch at like 116, 120. Please tell me you're caught up on the thing, right? Like this. And watch the anchor, the minor anchored. Clip that. I think that's easy money. And actually, when I was, who's the homie that I was talking with about the Trident? I swear we said this shit out loud. If you want a Trident, we want it to make a higher high so that this is a higher low. And we're actually going to end up getting that hoe. Right, Aurum? So I'm Gucci on this too, Fibception. You saw it yesterday? Or today? Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I mean, plans, man. Plans. Got to be prepared. So let's see what it reacts here, right? Let's see what the reaction is here. I can't stress it enough, man. The original idea on this long was all the way to right there, the 175 zone. All right, that's it right there, the 175 zone. So all these pivot points are kind of important to keep an eye on. All I need, so think about it for a second, Satoshi. Satoshi, do you know the 3 types of edge that I like? Do you know the 3 types of edge that I like? I like CVD divergences, okay? I like open interest. I like structure, and I like S&P confluence. Do you understand that out of those 4 edges that I like, there's only one, okay? The bear div that I have. Right? Do you understand what I'm waiting for? Do you understand why I'm getting ready? Okay? Now, if we get to 92, what's the exact number? If we get to 92.3 and it's not a swing fail, the shorts are still not closed, the hidden bear div goes away, S&P is still pumping, then I'm not going to short. So I'm disciplined enough and patient enough to wait for all the edges to show up. I'm also prepared and planned enough to take it if the edge does show up. But yeah, it really shouldn't be like so dramatic. Everybody should be prepared and waiting and getting ready to do their thing. Some people have different edge than I do. Some people are waiting for different edge than me. Some people already got what they wanted. There's no right or wrong. All right. So the cool thing is, I think, for a very long time, we've been talking about and preparing for this. And so it's not like we have to make up a decision or figure something out in the next day or two. We've had weeks to think about and talk about this. So, alrighty. Alex Inkle says, did Kimba close as 105 short? Nope. Still running. Do you know why, Alex? Do you know why? Well, first off, it's only 20 Bitcoin, but conceptually speaking, my spot bag alone will be bigger than any leverage long position I could open. So I'm already in big longs with my spot bag. I've seen this shit go from 69 to 15, and I didn't sell anything. So I'm more concerned about making sure that I protect my spot bag than doubling down and getting into leveraged longs. So if you watch all of my highlights for the last 3 years, you're going to notice that I'm way more short than long when it comes to derivatives, because the spot is my long. So, Yeah, I'm always going to carry that as a hedge. I'll probably close it once we actually have some time spent above or below 92 or 93. But I've already been looking at 92, 93 as a short. So if I wasn't going to close it here and I was, saying that if this is the last short attempt, the next one, we're going to see it here. I already was talking about, do not short in here. So if I didn't close here, then it's still open here, brother. Does that make sense? Hazy says, so you always hedge, no leverage longs? No, I take leverage longs all the time. I'm just saying that I think my trauma and my experiences make me tend to short more. Like in my subconscious, I think I'm always already in a long because I have spot bags. Grim says, Kimba, did you check Tau? It pumped quite nicely, 100% from the low. A lot of altcoins, right? Grim, will those lows be the low? That's the question. Is Bitcoin going to hold that 74? That's the question. Are we going to have rate cuts ever? Is Trump going to stop it with this fucking nonsense with tariffs? All I want is an opportunity, because I'm going to make sure that I do what my responsibility is to be prepared. And once in a while, when you get those two things blended together, opportunity and preparation, we can get juicy with it, can we not? I bet if we really waded through all the bullshit, regardless of if you're in a long or a short, I feel like for the most part, on the higher time frame, we're all pretty much in agreement of what we're looking at on the higher time frame, right? It's like the medium and smaller time frame and the leverage shit that we can kind of debate about and, is this the right time to take the long? Is this the right time to take the short? Should we wait? Should we not? More often than not, it's not about being wrong on a long or a short. It's just about being too early or too late, right? 13 minutes until U.S. market close. What a day. What a day. Regardless of if you're in shorts or longs, you feel like you missed shorts or you feel like you missed some longs, there's always another trade, Obviously, I can't predict the future and it's level to level, but I feel like for most of you guys, you're ready for the 92, 93. Can we get an 80, 82 long, right? Maybe this rips straight to 96. Hard to tell. You guys saw what I'm expecting for ES on the higher time frame. So that key level, we marked it out. It's going to be interesting. That gap, that clean, that high. All right. Are they going to just leave that funky low like that? We'll see. All right. 94% probability right now that we're not going to get rate cuts. We'll see what GDP and PCE is and how this might change, ladies and gentlemen. But I hope you guys are having a great time. I hope you guys feel like you're getting better, not because of what I'm specifically doing, but what we're all seeing together. Remember, the best teacher is the price action. It's not one person. So it's your job to extract what it is that would be the juiciest thing for you to extract, learn, improve, keep taking shots, man. You guys Gucci? Rex says refresh. Sure. So it's changing little by little, and that's okay. That's okay. I expect it to change. And we need to pay attention to how this changes and when, right? This isn't our first rodeo, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get nasty with them. I thought it was Jesus that was supposed to be resurrected. Bitcoin got resurrected on Easter Sunday, huh? The math is the math, though. Cachoya. So we broke out of the 85, 86 range in 1 day, basically, in a day and a half, I guess, if you want to be technical. We have reached the 92 zone that I feel like, to be fair, we have been talking about for quite some time. Am I right? And so here we are. Now it's kind of decision-making time. Just like we had the opportunity down here, we have to think about, is it worth the short? Should we wait for 96? Should we wait for the gap fill? What should we do? What does the data tell us? Let's try to be patient. Tomorrow is Wednesday. You know that I'm down to take that thang on a Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, a little bit different story. Obviously, you know, if we, depending on what we are in tomorrow or Thursday and Friday, things change because we want to be in a position before Wednesday, right? Wednesday is GDP. And then a week after Wednesday and PCE and GDP, it's going to be FOMC. So, man, the next couple days, the next 10 days, we got to get locked in. It's time to juice. It's time to juice. This 5-minute day-to-day scalping shit, easy. But don't get, you know, too carried away here. Yeah, so something like with a wait, but I thought those are bad. You know what we need now, ladies and gentlemen? I thought that's a bad low. That's what we need, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? I'm just trying to quickly glance. Ooh. Hey, where's my dot homie at? Hey, where's the dot homie at? How many of y'all were there for the .TA? Not too shabby. Gotcha. Yeah, it looks pixel perfect. A lot of some of these are really interesting. Obviously, this one already kind of played out. Just kind of glancing through these, see if we can juice up. Because I'm going to start scalping some altcoins, you know? God damn, some of these things are just so pixel perfect. A lot of these, right? Very similar. Oh, this is so tempting. Because we wanted that key level. They left a bad low at a weekly level. God damn it.
There. Yes.
Wait. Like, Vet took the juicy low. Some of these took the juicy lows and some of them didn't. So we're going to have to dive in a little bit, compare and contrast. The ones that did, for sure, like Trident is an easy play. Yeah? And ideally before it gets to the VWAP.
Daddy, chill.
Extra confluence. Anyways, we'll do more tomorrow. Ka-cha-ya! Ka-cha! Yanga Sohi Reaving. Lions, I love you guys. Stay safe. Don't do nothing crazy without me. Wait for me. Wait for RTH. Love you guys. Have a great night. Peace, everybody. Ka-cha-ya, he Reaving.